Hello everyone, welcome back to this course Introductions to Farm Machinery and Implement, which is being offered on Swayam platform. In previous lecture, we were talking about harvesting machine and different types of harvesting machines for harvesting crops above the ground, harvesting crops which are below the ground. In this lecture, we are going to talk about threshing machines and equipment. So, threshing machines and equipment used for threshing operations of crop. So, the threshing is the process of detaching the grains from the ear head or from the plant. So, whenever we are removing the plant seeds or grain from the crop panicle, crop's ear head, crop's cob, or its parts, that operation is called as threshing. The main principle involved in threshing is some impact force may be used, or there may be pounding given on the crops so that the grain will be separated from the panicles or from the cobs or from the pods. Or we may pass the crop mass through a gap between the rotating drum and stationary concave, where there will be a rubbing and wearing action takes place, and because of that also the grains will get separated from the panicle. So these are all the two principles which commonly involved while threshing of crops. So threshing of crop is nothing but removal of grain or detaching the grains from the panicle, from the ear head, from the cobs or from the pods. So that can be done either by beating over them or impact or pounding action. That's how the grains are separated out of the panicles or cobs, or passing the mass of crop through the restricted space where there will be one moving element and there will be one stationary element. So while passing through this, the wear and tear will take place, the rubbing will take place, and because of that grain will detached. So these are all the two prime principles through which the threshing is accomplished. Though the rupture of this bonding between the grains and their panicle or the ear head or from the cobs depends upon various factors. The most important factors are impact of beater or spike over the grains. Another one is wearing or rubbing action. So the rupture bond must be, the rupture of the bond between the grains and ear is due to the factors that whenever there is a impact or a beating action over the crop, the grains are get detached. Whenever there is a wear and tear, or whenever there is whenever there is a wearing or rubbing action, in such case also the grain will rupture, and that's how they detach out of their ear heads or from their cobs. So threshings are done in different way. There are three methods followed for threshing of crop. The one and very primitive method is manual labor threshing, by using manual labor, and another one is by threshing by animals or threshing by using machines. These are all the three methods of threshing the crop. As you can see in this screen, all these pictures shown here are all related to threshing by animals as well as threshing by manual method or by manual labors. So threshing by manual labor is a very ancient method and very primitive method, where individuals will hold a bundle of crop and they ram it over the hard surface. So hard surface here, it may be a table, as you can see in these first pictures in the first row, or they may hit over the stone, where they can use machines where they are manually operated, or that equipment may be power operated. So there will be a rotating roller. The drive for that rotating roller may be given by the motor, or it may be pedal operated type. One person, if it is a pedal operated type, then one person will keep pedaling it so that the drum continue to rotate, and that rotating drum will have a pegs or loops on its surface, and over that rotating drum where it is having loops or pegs. So as the crop of bundle of crop is come in contact with the rotating drum, so that pegs over the drum will hit the panicles, and that's how the grains are detached out of the crop, or crop panicles or ear heads. So manual threshing by manual involves hitting of crop over the hard surface. It may be hard surface, may be a stone, it may be a table, or it may be a something else, where hitting over that surface the grain may get detached because of impact or beating action, as it is listed here. The rupture of bond between the grains and ear is mainly due to beating action. Whereas in the tool, it is shown here, in this tool there is a drum with the loop or spikes on this drum, and it is provided with the drive from the electric motor or something else, and that's how it continue to rotate. And whenever we bring a mass of crop in contact with this rotating drum, so there will be a beating action involved, and that's how the grains are detached out of the plant, and that's how the threshing will be accomplished by manual labor. And the below three pictures are example for animal threshing by animals. While there will be a number of animals which are tied one beside to other into the common pole, where that common pole is on the threshing yard, and on the ground crops of unthreshed plants are spread, and over the spread crops that animals will be allowed to walk. I mean, they will be rided over the spread crop, and that's how because of their foot stamping, so grain will be detached. So the animal will be keep riding over that plant, and they will be making a circle over the plant spread plant material, and because of stampede, so the grain will be detached. And then later that detached grains will be at the lower layer, and that's how the top threshed straw will be collected, and later the grains at the bottom layer, at the lower layer will be collected, and they will be taken for further cleaning and all. And that's how the animal, by using animal, the threshing will be accomplished. In addition to that, sometime you can also operate a roller over the spread crop material in the threshing yard with the help of a pair of bullocks like this. In the case of this, the third picture, because of that also the grains will be detached from the crop material. So here also it combines both impact action as well as rubbing action to detach the grains out of the crop material with the help of animals. So the power thresher is the one type of equipment which generally driven by IC engine or a tractors or sometime power tiller too. And if it is a stationary type of power thresher, then it will be operated by electric motor also. And the main purpose of to perform all these listed 6 tasks. One among them is it allows to feed the harvest into the threshing cylinder. Once we feed the threshing cylinder, then threshing will accomplished. The grain will be detached out of the panicle or from the cob or from the ear head. And once the threshing is done, that mass of grain along with the threshed straw and crop residues will go to the cleaning and separation unit, where the grains are separated from the threshed straw. Then the grains along with the fine material are cleaned, and the fine foreign matters and boos are cleaned, and only clean grains are taken, and they will be bagged. And later that boosas will be collected, and they may be used as a animal feed. So this is how any power thresher will perform the various functions: feeding the crop residues into the threshing cylinder, then threshing those crop residues, and threshed crop residues will be separated, and separations of grain out of the threshed straw, and within the grain there will be a fine impurities and foreign matters. They may be cleaned off. Then later clean grain must be put into bags, and later the busas will be chopped into small pieces and they may be used as a animal feed. So that's how the power threshers will perform various functions. So this is how any power threshers will look like. Some one here, this one might be the power thresher and this one will be the multi-crop thresher. So any power thresher may be converted into multi-crop thresher just by changing the type of sieves used according to the type of crop for which you are going to use this machine, and by adjusting the rotor speed, I mean threshing cylinder speed. Threshing cylinder speed, the clearance between the threshing cylinder and clear concave, and the changing the by changing the number of sieves and type of size of opening of the sieve, and adjusting the blower speed. So these are all the major adjustment and changes one has to make in order to use a same power thresher for different types of crop. So this is where the crop will be fed into the power thresher. That fed crop will be conveyed into the threshing cylinder or threshing unit, where there will be a cylinder. It is rotating, and over the cylinder, on the surface of the cylinder, there will be a spike, or there will be a pegs, or there will be a bar, and it pass in close contact with the another stationary concave, which and in between these there will be a very restricted passage. Through that restricted passage, the material is allowed to pass, and while passing through that restricted passage, the grains will experience beating action. I mean, the plant will experience, in addition to beating action, there will be a rubbing action, and because of that beating action and rubbing action, the grains get detached out of the plant material, and that threshed material comes to the separation unit, where that grains are separated from the non-threshed and crop residues, and later that threshed grains are taken into the cleaning unit, where there will be a set of sieves through which the fine matter and foreign matters are separated from the clean grain, and later the clean grains are bagged and the busas are discharged from the rear of the equipment. So there is another machine which is quite popular and commonly used one, which is combine harvester thresher. So most commonly it is called as combine. So combine, the name combine comes for this equipment from the operation it performs. It performs harvesting as well as threshing operation. That's why it is called as combine harvester thresher. So what we discussed under the harvesting machine, like reaper binder, they are all the harvesting machines. And what we discussed prior to this slide, that is thresher, power thresher, they are all the threshing equipment. So the crop which are harvested either manually or using the reaper or reaper binder will be threshed using the power thresher, which I shown in the previous slide. But this machine, the combine harvester thresher, is a special machine which harvests the crops and it also threshes the crops simultaneously. So this machine is designed to harvesting, threshing, separating, cleaning and collection of grains while that machine is moving through the standing crops. While it is moving in the field, it performs all these operations. So bagging arrangement may be provided with the pickup attachment. Many times with the combine harvester which are commercially being used nowadays, they do not come with the bagging arrangement. Instead, they come with the storage tank, where they can able to store the grains to certain capacity. Then as the tank comes to its fills to its maximum, then the grains will be discharged out of it. So the main functions of combines includes cutting off standing crop as it moves in the standing crop field. Then that cut crops will be fed into the threshing unit, where the threshing will take place. Once the threshing is done, then threshing, cleaning and separations of crop will take place. Threshed grains along with the fine dust and foreign matters are separated from the threshed large straw. Then the grains along with the fine dust and impurities will be taken into the cleaning unit, where there are set of sieves, and they will clean the grain and remove the foreign matter out of the grains, and that clean grain will be collected in the container, and as the container fills to its maximum, then it will be discharged with the help of a discharge agar. So these are all the, this is the schematic diagram of a combine harvester. And any combine harvester will have these components. These are all the components or parts of the combine harvester. So the header unit of a combiner unit, this part of the combine harvester thresher is called as the header unit. So header unit consists of a reel. This wheel is called as the reel, and this reel helps to guide the material, standing crops, and convey them towards the cutter bar. So there will be a cutter bar at the bottom, and that will cut the crops to a set height above the ground, and this reel will hold the material and convey them towards the cutter bar. So, and it also helps to lift the crop which are lodged. So any crops which are lodged or fall down, they will be lifted up, and same time they will be conveyed and forced against the cutter bar, and cutter bar will cut the crop, and that cut crop material will be collected in this platform, where the platform is consisting of a feeding agar. So there is a feeding agar which collects this cut material, and it will feed into this feeder elevator camera. So this feed agar roller will collect the material, and cut material will be conveyed into this elevator feeder, and this elevator feeder will feed the material into this threshing unit, where there is a cylinder which is rotating, and there is a concave which is in stationary. So there is a small gap between this cylinder and the concave. Through this gap, the material is supposed to pass through. While passing through this restricted passage, and the cylinder is threshing cylinder is rotating, so that will impose some beating action over the crop and rubbing actions too, and that's how the grains are get detached and threshed, and threshed grains along with the fines and foreign impurities will come to this cleaning unit, and threshed grain along with some trapped grains will go to separation unit. So here the separation will take place, and threshed grains are discharged from the rear of the combine harvester, and grains along with unthreshed ear heads will come and they will be collected here, and they will be refed for threshing purpose. They will be refed for rethreshing, and the grains which are collected here will be cleaned by, there is a blower which blows the stream of air, and that stream of air will picks up all the fine particles and discharge them at the rear of the combine harvester, and clean grain will be collected here, and clean grain with the help of a clean grain elevator, they will be taken into the grain container or grain storage tank, where they will be stored till its maximum capacity. And that's how the combine harvester will harvest the crop, convey them into the threshing unit. Threshing will be done there, then threshed straw will be discharged off, and unthreshed grain will be collected from the tile agar, and the tiling agar will refeed those unthreshed grain into the threshing unit for rethreshing, and the threshed grains are collected here for cleaning purpose, and the cleaning will be done here, and cleaned grains are collected from this cleaning conveyor, and that will be clean grain conveyor will put them into the storage tank, and there will be a blower which blows the air across the set of sieves, and any fine matters or particles are there, they will be blown away out of the combine machine, and that's how the grains will be cleaned and made free from any kind of foreign matter. So there is a real speed index. There is a term called real speed index. The real speed index tells you that this ratio between speed of the reel and the forward speed of the machine, that is combine harvester. So it must be always between 1.25 to 1.45. reel speed index, in the sense the peripheral speed of the reel should be 1.25 to 1.45 times more than the forward speed of the combine harvester. Then only it can able to feed the combine harvester at right proportion, so that it will not feel any overload. Otherwise there will be a overloading or underloading of the grinds, I mean threshing material in the threshing unit, and that's how it distorts the or deteriorate the threshing optimum threshing conditions of the combine harvester. In addition to that, if you operate this reel at higher speed, there will be a shattering occurs, and that's how the grain will get detached here itself and they will fall on the land, and you will be unable to recover those grains. So in order to reduce the shattering losses, it must be operated, reel speed index should be maintained between 1.25 to 1.45 ratio. So there are some advantages associated with the combine harvester. Advantages are like it saves the cost of harvesting and threshing of crops. It reduces the labor requirement, of course, because it performs two operations simultaneously, harvesting and threshing, cleaning and all. So it saves the time, it saves the cost, it does not require labor, and grain can be obtained easily from the crop, and thus there will be a low risk of rain and other hazards where it is quite common in case of manual harvesting, because manual harvesting takes long time, huge time. You can't harvest hectares of land in a one day with the very few farm labor, and meanwhile if any rains comes or any cyclone kind of alert is happened, then you are unable to recover your crop, and that's how your crop going to be lost. So it cleans the field easier early, and that's how you can plan for the next season as early as possible, because combine harvester harvest the crop and thresh the crop and keep the field clean and leave it for the his owner for, I mean, give more time for planning for the next season. And the crop which are harvested, they still lays in the same field, so that crop may be incorporated in the soil to act like organic manure, and that's how it has several advantages the combine harvester give us. So there are some disadvantages also with the combine harvester. The one among them is the higher initial cost. Second one is unadaptable to the mixed farming. Of course, its cost is high. Each combine harvester will cost you about 20 to 25 lakhs, and because they are self-propelled one, and they have their own power sources, and they can able to harvest more area per unit time. And if only for monocropping system they are used, and they cannot use it for mixed cropping, because it won't differentiate the crop and leave those crops which are not to be harvested and harvest those which must be harvested. So that is not possible. So mixed cropping system, it is not at all suitable, and it cannot be used in fragmented piece of land, because you might have seen how that combine harvester will look like. It is a big machine, can able to cover 2.3 to 4 meters width in a one pass. So such kind of machine is always suited best for a large area. For the fragmented land, they are not good, because they do require a more non-productive areas, where in fragmented land it is not possible. And there will be a loss of grain also if the field is not suitable for the combine harvesting machine, and we are not harvesting at the right time. If crop is completely matured and dried, in such case if you operate the combine harvester, the grain, that bonding between the grains and panicle will be less, and a small mechanical force imposed on them while harvesting will leads to a large percentage of shattering losses, and that's why there will be heavy losses of grain also. And operation and maintenance cost is high, and it requires a technically skilled operator and labor to operate this machine, and that's how. So combine harvester, this makes it one of the disadvantages for the combine harvester. So these are all what the equipments which we use for harvesting and threshing, particularly for threshing power threshers and combine harvester threshers for grains are concerned. These are all the references you may go through for the further deeper knowledge about threshing equipments and machines. Thank you all.